Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For today, I am going to be doing a get ready with me on this look right here while I'm getting ready for a Persian gala, which I'm so excited about. It's the first one here and first one that I'm attending, so I'm really excited and looking forward to it. While talking about my experience from 2 years ago doing the Miss Iran pageant. So if you guys are interested in knowing about my time doing that and takeaways about confidence and boundary setting and like self-worth and things like that, then definitely keep on watching. Okay guys, obviously skincare is done, so now we're gonna jump straight into doing the makeup. So before I do anything, I'm gonna start underpainting my face. I think that just always ends up looking the best when I do my makeup that way. I'm gonna go in with the Say and I'm just gonna warm up my face. So I wanted to make a little video about my Miss Iran experience, because I feel like I made TikToks about it, but I never like actually did a YouTube video about it. I feel like this would be a super fun video to make and like share my experience, because I know other people from different like pageants and stuff talk about their experiences, so I think it would be really fun to talk about my experience as well. Now I'm just gonna go in and do the rest of my face. I'm gonna go in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This would be a really fun video to talk about, given that it's been like 2 years now, and like looking back, reflecting on that time and like everything. I think it would be a fun video to share my experience, how it was doing a pageant, and like what I learned from it and what it was like. So I was 21, 22 when I went to this pageant, and so I had to like submit. They announced it on Instagram. My mom found out through like Facebook about it, and she's like, oh my god, this is so cool, they're doing one for like Persians, you know, like totally apply, like this is a really cool experience to like talk about your culture and like be in tune with your culture and stuff. And so I was really excited. I'm not the most like pageant person, and I'm also not the most like outgoing person, so this was definitely something that was out of my comfort zone. So like we had to initially, I'll do the whole timeline, we had to initially, before the pageant started, submit a video on like who we are, what we're like, who, like basic info, like kind of like the ones that you see on like Love Island, the little like intros that they have, but it's like filmed by the producers and stuff. You kind of had to make it your own basically. That's going to be shown to like the audience and also the judges and stuff basically. I'm now going to go in with some blush. I'm going to go in with the Grateful blush by Rare Beauty. I'm just going to put a little bit because this is super pigmented, but I made my video. I was like expecting it, you know how like there's obviously the pageants, from my understanding there's pageants that are like from different countries and stuff, but they're in English because like that gets the most, you know, attention, the most like, you know, engagement, especially for people like me who are like born here, but like obviously I am literally like, I'm 100% Persian, I'm coming from both cultures, whatever. So like I was expecting it to be the same thing, but I was completely wrong, you guys. So I submitted my video in English because that's how I saw the other countries when I watched videos and stuff, researching. Everything was in English obviously, but then it was very in tune with their culture or whatever, their country. So that's sort of what I was expecting. I submitted my video, and like after a week I heard back in this email in Farsi, and I'm gonna go in now and do some concealer. I'm gonna go in with the Radiant Creamy Concealer and also the Kosas Concealer. Just gonna combine these two under my eyes and also any problem spots basically. But basically it was all in Farsi, which I know how to speak, but I don't know how to read or write, and I'm very fluent with speaking, so I don't have like an issue with that. But I was like having my mom like translate it, and they're like, oh, it has to be in Farsi, which I was like, that's kind of interesting. First kind of like red flag that we kind of noticed. We're like, oh, interesting, especially because the pageant is happening in California, like in America. You'd think that they would be catering to, you know, people who are born here but still want to be a part of the experience. I submitted a video, whatever. I was already very anxious. Then all of a sudden like a week before or something, they released the cast list of the contestants, and it was no more than like 15 people. And going into it, I was like, I had this expectation that pageants are normally done in your teens, and like I was going to be the oldest person there basically. No, I was the youngest person there, and I was 21, 22 at the time. And it was like they sort of made it out to be that they were gonna do like 2 pageants, like one for my age group, like the teens to the 20s, so like basically me and like up to 25, so there was like 3 other contestants basically lumped with me, and then it would be like the older people, like from 26 up to like 48 was like the age limit, which I was like, okay, this is so interesting and so different already, because like I went into it thinking I was gonna be the oldest person. I'm gonna warm up my face again with the Mario bronzer, but so already very interesting. And I show up there, it's like a 2-day event where it's like the first day you show up at like 5 p.m. at the hotel room, check in, do rehearsals, get to know the other contestants, and the other day at like 5 p.m. on Saturday is like the actual pageant basically. I show up, my person I'm sharing the hotel room with hasn't shown up yet, but then I met the other contestants, and like everyone else was obviously like a lot older than me. Like, interesting experience. I still went in under the conception that they're going to split us up into 2 groups, because obviously it doesn't make sense for me to be competing with someone who has a lot more life experience, a lot more knowledge, and like whatever, like a 48-year-old competing with a 22-year-old. That's just crazy to me. Clearly not though. So basically I go to the dress rehearsal. It was a pretty like interesting experience. I definitely felt very excluded because everyone there was like straight from Iran. Like they were all fluent, could read, write, speak fluently, and I could speak fluently too. I could keep up with them. It was more so the sense that like everyone except for like one other person was born here in America, like with me, and everyone else was like fresh straight from Iran. And so they all became like sort of a little group. And I'm gonna go in with Truth and Powder, put powder blush on my face by Rare Beauty. So like obviously I was very excited because I was like, this is going to be such a cool experience. I'm excited to meet people from my culture and get to know other people around here, because obviously a lot of them live nearby or in the state of California. So I was going in extremely optimistic. I really was hoping for this experience to be something where like it can bring me more closer to my culture, and I can make connections with people and like have friends from the same culture, you know. But it didn't really end up being that way. It felt like very much catered towards people who are from Iran, and not like embracing the people who are bicultural or like coming from someone who's like me, where I grew up here in America basically. I'm gonna go in with the Huda Beauty powder, and I'm gonna set my under eyes right now. From the get-go, they like didn't really explain things that we needed, or like that there's going to be interview questions that we needed to prep for. So like that was all given in Farsi, by the way, which I had to have like my mom come that night at like 10 p.m. to like explain to me like a lot of the like the questions and stuff. Obviously like Google Translate can only take you so far. So that was like an experience in itself. Sort of like made me feel that I wasn't Persian enough because I wasn't from Iran, and so obviously when you grow up in a different country, there's certain things obviously that like are different from me growing up here and having the American culture and American values. So I feel like it was seen as kind of like a weakness, like being bicultural was seen as a weakness and wasn't really like appreciated or seen as equal basically. I'm gonna set my face with powder, and then like you had to do an act basically. I was gonna draw something for the Women Life Freedom movement, and I thought like, you know, they were gonna have like a stool or something for me, because they asked like, let us know what you are doing so that we can bring in props and stuff like for you to like basically have everything assembled and stuff. And I was like, I can bring my own canvas and paints, but can you just bring a stool, because obviously like I don't have a stool. And so I showed up there though during rehearsal. They're like, we don't have a stool. And then there was another girl there who was doing painting, and she had a stool, but she wouldn't share it with me. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cutthroat. Like, I thought we were all gonna be friends, gonna be fun times. No, clearly not. So she didn't share her stool with me, which is fine. So it was just so much like minor things like that just made it even more of a stressful experience than it needed to be. I'm gonna go in with the highlighter by MAC and Flare for the Dramatic. I'm just gonna put that on. I didn't like do an intermission because I was doing my eyes, but I basically put this shade here, like a brown, and I mixed it in with the Hourglass and the shade Galaxy to put on my crease, and then I put in the Hourglass shade in Phoenix on my, like, the actual lid of my eye. And now I'm basically gonna go in and put in my brown on my waterline. This is the Kosas eyeliner, just for it to be a little bit more cohesive basically. I'm also gonna take the Tarte Fake Awake and I'm gonna put that right on my inner corner just to brighten it up so it's not so dark basically. But yeah, basically the day of the pageant arrives. I was already so nervous, but there was already so many things that were happening that basically, like, my mom, like, was just like, just go in and have fun. It's not the experience that we thought it was gonna be, but just make the most out of that experience basically, to the best that you can. So I just sort of went in, and that like definitely helped alleviate a lot of the pressure, because I was like, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be, but it's fine. I'm just gonna make the most out of this situation, and like, there's things out of my control, so I'm not gonna worry about it, and I'm just gonna go and be me and be proud of who I am and have that confidence, and yeah, whatever happens happens basically. But I'm gonna now put some of the Peel Off Lip by this brand here. I can never pronounce it correctly. It's called like Cero Feller. Got it off Amazon in the shade Mauve, and I'm just gonna put that on my corner of my lips basically, just to lightly line them. I basically had to like really focus on my confidence, which in itself was a really great like lesson. I had to be proud of like who I am and not let like the people in that team or like anyone else outside make me feel littler or less than. So basically I was like, okay, like there's this big catwalk and there's like the judges table like right after at the end of the catwalk and stuff, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be really confident and just walk up with my paint brushes and my poster, and I'm gonna walk up and sit right in front of them at the end of that catwalk and do my painting in front of them. If no one's gonna like help me and no one's gonna like advocate for me, I'm just gonna, and after me advocating for myself and it being met with nothing, this is it, like this is what I have to do basically. And literally before that we had to do a first catwalk in our clothes, and our like big ball gown poofy clothes and stuff, and they played the wrong video of me, like the first video that I submitted, the one in English and not the one in Farsi obviously. So I was like literally so anxious before walking on that stage, and I was like, okay, another thing, because they're like, they were so strict. They're like, they mark you on points for fluency in Farsi too, which I thought was very interesting. And then yeah, I mean there's a bunch of other things, but I feel like it's, there's no point in like talking about it. It felt very like non-inclusive and just not, yeah, basically not what you would typically expect from a pageant. I'm gonna do a little bit of a wing, and then I'm gonna do some mascara with the Telescopic, and then go in with the Mario just for a bunch of volume, because I don't have any falsies, which is really bad. I need to get falsies. But I walked out there and like still owned it, even though it was like a mistake and I knew I was gonna get marked points, even though it was out of my control. I was like, it is what it is, gotta still, you know, make my impression. And like I went in there, answered the questions as best I could, spoke fluent Farsi. There's other things that went wrong with that, like they didn't tell me I need to have a music picked out, so they just put the most random rainfall music during my presentation. I did not know, otherwise I would have picked obviously something Persian cultural, and definitely felt like I had, it was more so like anger that was refueled into confidence, because like I wasn't gonna let my own self-worth and like my confidence be diminished in a place that wasn't gonna affirm me for who I am, or like validate me or make me feel like I'm not good enough, basically, to be in the space, when I know I deserve to be in the space just as much as everyone else. Or it's like, it's not about winning the title, it's more so just me being like, I'm confident who I am, and kind of knowing your own worth, especially in an environment or a place that doesn't really validate you or make you feel like equal to other people, basically. So definitely learned a lot on how to like set my own boundaries. At least every person there was done wrong at least once, so it's like, you know, kind of unite in the trauma of that. But that's okay, like it was still a fun experience. I'm gonna go in with the Mahogany lip liner by MAC and just do a round and like kind of overline my lips, basically. But I made it to the second round and then I got eliminated, obviously. And also, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, it didn't end up being us in 2 different groups. I was warped in with the mid-40s peoples, which was already in a competition in itself. It just felt very unfair to be competing with people who obviously have had a lot more life experiences than you, since that is what the bulk of a pageant is. It's all about the experiences that you've done at your point in time in life. So I just lined my lips, but I didn't do the middle because I'm just gonna put lipstick on that. I'm gonna put Entrance by Pat McGraw. So yeah, that's like really what the whole shebang was. It was still a good experience for me nonetheless, something that I will always carry with me. Obviously it wasn't the most like positive, and it was a little bit anxious, a little bit stressful at times, but I think I learned a lot about me and a lot about my boundaries. And I like the idea, like if you ever feel like you weren't enough or like within your own culture or your community, just know that you don't have to choose between like one part of yourself of being American or one part of yourself being Persian. You can pick and choose and become yourself as an individual and like be proud of who you are, because obviously like you have experiences that are different from other people. And that's what I learned, is that I should be proud of myself for being both, basically, and not like feel less than or anything like that. This is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I feel like it ended up being such a big like TED Talk video, which obviously was not my intention, but I hope there was something in there that like resonated with you, or was a fun, entertaining video to watch, because like it was very chaotic, but looking back now, it's a good story to tell, and I feel like it was informative in some ways. Comment down below other videos you guys would like to see from me, and I hope to see you guys in my video for next week. Bye.